Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, we're going to go back 74 years today to January 16th, 1949. And we're going to start off in Pine Ridge, Arkansas, but we're going to go to the nation's capital as Lum and Abner go to Washington, D.C. for the president's inauguration. We thank you for tuning in on this Monday. This is the 16th day of January, and this is 349 days remaining till we get to 2024. Vermont declared its independence from New York on this date in 1847. John C. Fremont appointed governor of the new California Territory in 1847. 1883, the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, establishing the U.S. Civil Service, passed in 1883. 1900, the Senate accepted the Anglo-German Treaty of 1899, in which the U.K. renounced its claim to the Samoan Islands. 1909, Ernest Shackleton's expedition found the magnetic South Pole. 1919, the U.S. ratified the 18th Amendment of the Constitution, allowing prohibition in the U.S. 1 year after ratification. 1938, the famous jazz concert by the Benny Goodman Orchestra and special guests took place at Carnegie Hall, the first jazz performance in that venue. If you have never heard Sing, Sing, Sing out of that concert, it was the most amazing thing you've ever heard. 1945, Adolf Hitler moved into his underground bunker. It was on this date in 1968, the Youth International Party founded, the Yippies. 1979, the Shah of Iran fled Iran with his family and relocated to Egypt.
People have just spontaneously swarmed into the streets, all of them shouting, "The Shah has escaped." They are drawing on cars, holding up pictures of Ayatollah Khomeini. It is a moment of great joy in Tehran.
The sounds in Tehran on this date in 1991. El Salvador officials and rebel leaders signed a peace accord on this date in 1992 in Mexico City, ending a 12-year civil war that claimed at least 75,000 lives. In 1997, the son of Bill Cosby, Ennis Cosby, shot and killed near I-405 in Los Angeles in a failed robbery attempt.
I set the coffin down over the hole, and I said, we now want to give praise to God for allowing us to know him. Not for giving him to us, but just letting us know him.
Ennis Cosby, 28, and Cosby's only son. 2001, President Clinton awarded former President Theodore Roosevelt a posthumous Medal of Honor for his service in the Spanish-American War. 2002, the UN Security Council established an arms embargo unanimously and the freezing of assets of Osama bin Laden, al-Qaeda, and the remaining members of the Taliban. 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia took off for its final mission. Columbia would disintegrate 16 days later on re-entry. Senator Barack Obama launched his successful bid for the White House on this date in 2007. And in 2020, the U.S. Senate ratified the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement as a replacement for the North American Free Trade Agreement. Passing away on this date in history, the founder of that big department store, Marshall Field, also criminal Ma Barker, actress Carol Lombard, Arturo Toscanini, the creator of the Chipmunks, Ross Bagdasarian Sr., Lurch in the original Addams Family, Ted Cassidy, also actor Ron Carey, race car driver and commentator Betty Parsons, singer, songwriter, saxophonist Jimmy Castor, the Jimmy Castor Bunch, the woman who created Dear Abby, Pauline Phillips, Captain, pilot, astronaut Eugene Cernan, and passing away in 2021, record producer, songwriter Phil Spector. This is the birthday to the man who created that funny thing that you see rolling around on the ice in the middle of hockey games, Frank Zamboni. Also actress, singer Ethel Merman, baseball player Dizzy Dean, the man who founded the Carl's Jr. hamburger chain, Carl Karcher, writer Sterling Silliphant, writer Susan Sontag, Celine Dion's husband and manager Renee Angelini, also singer Aaliyah. Turning 88 years old today, famed race car driver A.J. Foyt, Ronnie Millsap, It Was Almost Like a Song. I probably got the title wrong, I'm sorry. Ronnie Millsap, 80 years old today. Singer-songwriter Jim Stafford, who didn't like spiders and snakes, or his girlfriend didn't. Jim Stafford, 79 today. Talk show host Dr. Laura Schlesinger, 76. Director John Carpenter, 75. Dancer, choreographer Debbie Allen, 73. Singer Sade and the Smooth Operator. Sade is 64 today. From In Vogue, Maxine Jones, 61. From Charles in Charge, Josie Davis, 50 years old. Model Kate Moss is 49. And the fellow who created that Broadway hit musical Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, is 43. Those some of the people celebrating the 16th day of January is their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, we have to give the four freshmen a day off and let Mrs. Miller stretch her lungs. From 74 years ago today, January 16th, 1949, Lum and Abner go to Washington. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, right here on your favorite radio station. Classic Radio Theater family, you know our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by just creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, because, you know, I'm working like 67 hours a day. Now, Mike's offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets ever. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. You'll never want to sleep on anything else once you slept on a set of Giza Dream sheets. A special offer for you right now. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. Call 1-800-928-4715. Use the promo code Wyatt. Or go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Wyatt. It's good on anything on the website. That number again, 1-800-928-4715. Use my promo code Wyatt. Thank you now for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on this Monday here on your favorite radio station. It was a very short time that Lum and Abner had a half-hour radio show on CBS, and you're going to hear an episode of that today from January 16th, 1949, right after the 1948 election, as Lum and Abner are going to head to Washington.
The Lum and Abner Show. Granny's Abner, you won't believe this, but looky here. We got a letter from the president.
Don't tell me we've been drafted.
No, we've been invited to Washington to attend the inauguration.
Well.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Oh, yeah. What is inauguration?
Why, that's the big event where every 4 years they swear in a Democratic president.
Yeah, sure. Recollect when you used to have them, what they call them, Republicans?
No, I don't, but of course you're older than I am. Well, come on. We better start getting packed up here.
Yeah, well, Lum, don't you think we ought to drop Mr. Truman a postcard and let him know we're coming? Otherwise, he might not be expecting to see us at this inauguration.
Oh, that's all right. There's a lot of folks that never expected to see him at this inauguration.
Well, there's my hand satchel, Lum. That thing's so heavy I don't believe I'll ever get it to Washington, though.
Well, what are you taking so much junk along for? We're just going for a visit. We ain't been elected to nothing, you know.
Well, you know how Elizabeth is. Insisted on me taking some of the outlandishest things. Why, she even wanted me to take a necktie.
Well, you really ought to have taken one, too. We'll have to dress fancy in Washington, you know.
We will, huh?
Oh, sure. Bound you a lot of them congressmen will more than likely wear tails.
Well, judging from what Truman said about the last Congress, I don't doubt it.
Wait a minute here. Hey, what's that you got strapped to your suitcase?
Them snowshoes. Won't I need them?
Well, of course not. Where do you think you're going, Los Angeles?
Well, I don't know what route we're going by. Have you got the railroad tickets yet?
No, but the feller in the ticket office is trying to get us some. He's going to call us back.
You know, Lum, maybe we oughtn't to go.
Why not? Don't you want to see the president?
Why, sure, I'd love to, but, Lord, I just hate to barge in on him without letting him know first.
Oh, wait a minute, Abner. We ain't going to stay at his place.
Well, I don't see why not. That's a pretty big house he's got there, and there's just 3 of them.
I know that.
Of course, now, I don't think we ought to stay for meals. Well, I guess we could. If his woman's anything like Elizabeth, she'd be glad to sit on a couple of extra plates and choke out a few extra biscuits, I reckon.
Now, listen, Abner, we ain't going to stay with the Trumanses. They're more than likely have a house full of relays. Wait a minute, I believe that's our ring.
Well, what do you invite us for if you don't want us to stay with him?
Hello, John 'em down store. Lum-Abner's talking.
All right.
Mr. Edwards, this is the ticket office again. And the only way I can get you to Washington is to route you through Cleveland and up to Buffalo.
Well, we don't care, just so we get there.
All right. Your train leaves the county seat at 7:45 tonight.
Well, we'll be there, and much obliged. Hi, Granny's Abner, we're all set. We go to Cleveland, and from there we go to Washington by Buffalo.
By Buffalo. That's
Yeah?
going to be pretty hard riding, ain't it?
No, not necessary. They got well-padded seats.
Well, maybe they have, but I ain't. Lum, you better cancel them tickets.
Well, Abner, that's the only way we can get there.
By Buffalo?
What the man said.
Now, there must be some easier way. Dog sled, pogo stick.
I don't see what you're kicking about. It'll take us a little longer going that way, is all.
Yeah, about 2 months long.
No, it won't. We'll get there for the inauguration.
Yeah, but whose? How fast do you expect that thing to travel?
Oh, I don't know, 60, 70 mile an hour.
70? What'd they do, shoot it out of a cannon? Lum, you better count me out on this trip.
Count you out.
Yes, sir. I've traveled a lot of hard ways in my life, but I'm just too dead blame old to take up riding a buffalo.
Oh, well, now, wait a minute, Abby.
And
You got
besides,
this...
I'd feel awful silly galloping up to the White House on one of them shaggy critters.
Abner, you're a little mixed
Lum,
up.
it's bad enough me and you popping in on the president without dragging a buffalo along for him to feed.
Well, if you'll just hush up
And
for a
another
second.
thing, he ain't got no barn there. We'd have to stake him out on a White House lawn. Them things are as big as an elephant.
I know how big they are.
And think how embarrassing that'd be to Truman if somebody did mistake it for an elephant. Oh, because the Democrats would run him right out of the party. No, we better not go, Lum. Mr. Truman never speak to us again.
Well, Abner, for your information, we ain't going to ride no buffalo. We're going on the train through the town of Buffalo.
Well, that's a lot better plan. Glad you changed your mind.
I never changed my... Wait a minute, there comes Ben Withers. I think I'll ask him if he'll drive us into the depot at the county seat.
Well, you can ask him anything you want to, but I can tell you right now what the answer will be. Fine.
You know, Ben's whole trouble is he never listens to what you say, and I'll prove it to you. Just watch here.
Good afternoon.
Say, Ben, there's a big green dragon following you there.
Fine.
See there?
Well, anything exciting happening around here?
Well, yeah, Ben. Me and Abner are going to Washington for the inauguration, and we was just wondering
By
if
the way, Lum,
Yeah?
how many eyes did that dragon have?
Huh?
I just happened to think if it's got 3 eyes, it might be the same one that old man Bates had followed him home New Year's Eve. Dog, is there actually one running loose around here?
All right, Abner, don't you get started, too.
Maybe we could ride him. So you're going to the inauguration, huh?
Yeah.
You'll enjoy that highly if it's anything like the one I attended. I'll never forget that inaugural parade. I stood there proudly waving at President Zinkefoos. Zinkefoos? He never was president of the United States. Of course not. He was president of Mount Ida. That was the year Mount Ida seceded from the Union.
What? I never heard nothing about that.
Well, they had to keep it pretty quiet so that President Zinkefoos could continue to collect his unemployment insurance checks from Washington.
Yeah, well, Ben, I wish you'd go and get your car, because we got to catch that train by 7:45.
Yes. Oh, that was a beautiful parade. First came President Zinkefoos standing up in a car with his top down.
Yeah, well, Ben, if
To his right sat Mrs. Zinkefoos, and to his left sat Barney Cleaver. Who's Barney Cleaver? Nobody ever found out. It must be said of him, however, that later, during the president's speech on the courthouse steps, Mr. Cleaver sold several dozen potato peelers.
look, Ben, we haven't...
Next in the parade came Vice President Cactus Jack Zinkefoos, patriotically clad in the colors of Mount Ida's new flag, red, white, and chartreuse.
Yeah, sounds pretty, but
Then
Ben...
someone blew a bugle, and the next thing we knew, Vice President Zinkefoos was being unfurled from the top of the flagpole.
Oh, Ben, you can tell us all that on our way to the county seat. Come on, if we don't hurry, we'll miss the train.
Fight.
Well, Granny's Ben, your old car made it after all. We got 5 minutes before our train pulls out. Have you got the tickets, Abner?
Why, no, I thought you had them.
Oh, my goodness. Look in your coin purse. Maybe you put them in there.
Well, Lum, I hate to unsole my underwear just for that.
For pity's sakes, did Elizabeth sew your money up in your underwear again?
Same place.
When are you going to grow up?
Wait, Lum, isn't that your ticket stuck in your hat band?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Why don't you recollect things like that, Abner?
Well, Lum, I was...
Did you recollect the lunch goods?
Yeah, I got a shoebox full of baked sweet potatoes to munch on and a jar of buttermilk.
I thought it was sweet milk.
Well, it was till after that ride in Ben's car. Well, I certainly hope you fellas have a highly boned voyage. And if you run into any of the Zinkefooses in Washington, well, my stars, doesn't that woman heading over this way look like Sister Simpson? Well, no wonder. That is Sister Simpson. Well, they certainly look alike.
Well, for goodness sake, Sister Simpson, what are you doing here?
Well, Lum, I tried to catch you before you left Pine Ridge. I want you to take this here box to Washington with you.
Oh, well, much obliged.
Oh, it ain't for you, Abner. It's for Mr. Truman, Lum, and will you give it to him personal?
Why, sure, I'll be proud to. What's in the box?
That's Beatrice in there.
Who?
My prize-winning Rhode Island Red.
Hell, I hope Elizabeth don't hear about this. She told me not to have nothing to do with any chickens on the train.
Lum, you be sure and give that to Mr. Truman now, 'cause I want to repay him for being so nice to my sister Nettie.
Does she know Mr. Truman?
No, but she written and asked him for a government loan so she could buy a house in town where her daughters could meet some boys.
And did he send her the loan?
Well, no, we didn't. But do you know the very next day they put a National Guard camp right across the road from her place?
Well, I'll be a polka-dotted possum.
Say, I believe your train's about to leave. Here, I'll give you a hand with your suitcase.
Yeah. Come on, Abner. You and Beatrice get aboard here.
Yeah, so long, Sister Simpson.
Bye. Say hello to Miss Truman for me.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, hurry up, Abner. Just set the bags down in that seat there, Ben.
Yeah, all right. You know, that was awful thought of Sister Simpson to bring this chicken for Mr. Truman.
Well, I guess he can use it. I hear he ain't been able to get by on his salary, and he's hit him up for a raise, I know.
There's Sister Simpson out there on the platform waving to you fellows.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye. What's she trying to say, Lum?
Oh, I ain't got the least idea.
Well, what are you moving your mouth like you're answering her for, then?
Well, that's what folks always do when a train's leaving. Nobody ever knows what anybody else is saying. Everybody always pretends they do, you know. Nod your head and smile, and they always laugh.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the way.
I never understood why CBS put Lum and Abner on at 10 o'clock at night. Now, I understand they had a big Sunday lineup, but couldn't you put them on the weekday at a better time? Sunday, January 16th, 1949, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for spending some of your Monday with us here at Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening to an episode of Lum and Abner, as it was originally broadcast on Sunday, January 16th, 1949. In the newspapers of that Sunday 74 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Another January blizzard swept into the mid-continent Saturday from Canada. The new storm hit just as officials in the Plain States were announcing the end of emergency conditions caused by blizzards earlier in the week. The new storm, spearheading another cold wave, whipped across parts of Montana, Idaho, and Utah. It started eastward in the general path of the earlier storms. Democrat leaders shook up their side of the House Un-American Activities Committee Saturday, choosing 5 lawyers and former judges as members. The action swept 2 holdover members off the committee, Congressman Rankin, the Democrat from Mississippi, and Hebert, the Democrat of Louisiana. One Democrat congressman told reporters the move was designed to put the committee's operation on a judicial basis and in the hands of men who know law and are trained in following the rules of evidence and court procedure. The committee has stirred a storm of controversy in the past over its hearing methods and some of its accusations. Leaders put action on school aid and rent control at the top of their list Saturday for a post-inaugural legislative drive in Congress. Senator Lucas of Illinois, who becomes majority leader next Thursday, told a reporter a working schedule for the lawmaking process probably will be drawn up Monday at the weekly White House conference with President Truman. Lucas said the administration regards rent control and extension of import and export controls as pressing matters. Senator Hill, the Democrat of Alabama, predicted the Senate Labor Committee will approve next Tuesday a Senate bill under which the government would distribute about $270 million to the states to raise educational standards. Israeli-Egyptian armistice talks on the island of Rhodes reached a new decisive stage yesterday. With a bold stroke, Dr. Ralph J. Bunch, acting UN mediator, submitted a draft proposal to each side covering all military and boundary aspects of the southern Palestine dispute. These are the points that broke up other peace efforts. They cover such things as how much of her gains Israel will abandon, lifting the siege of 3,000 Egyptians trained at Fallujah, and reduction of opposing armies to peace size. It boils down to the fixing of Israel's border in the coveted, potentially rich Negev Desert. Playing Harry S. Truman's inaugural next Thursday may turn out to be history's fanciest. Those in charge of the sideline festivities promise more of almost everything, and better, too. The actual oath-taking comes Thursday, but there's going to be a lot going on all week. Party faithful from far and wide, and some who may have had their doubts before the November election returns came in, are ready to make the most of the occasion. The elaborate goings-on before and after the actual inaugural will contrast sharply with the last inaugural. When Franklin D. Roosevelt took over the oath as president for the fourth time, January 20, 1945, there was no fanfare. The nation was then fighting the greatest war, and Roosevelt was quietly sworn into the White House. Senator Rayburn and House Republican leader Martin of Massachusetts threw bipartisan weight Saturday behind the idea of hunting ways to tighten the laws against spying. They showed an inclination to swing along with Attorney General Clark on the general theme that Congress should explore the possibility of giving the government greater peacetime powers to combat espionage. But Clark's specific proposals, particularly to legalize wiretapping, probably will be approached cautiously. And a recommendation that the 5 million members of the General Federation of Women's Clubs stay away from any of Rita Hayworth's feature films, made Saturday night by the Federation's motion picture chairman, Mrs. Joseph R. Chesser of Chicago. Now, Miss Hayworth's European traveling with Ali Khan, son of the fabulously rich Indian potentate Aga Khan, accompanied by Rita's 4-year-old daughter, Rebecca Wells, drew the ire of Mrs. Chesser. Miss Hayworth is divorced from Rebecca's father, Orson Welles. Khan has a wife and children, and Chesser telling people, "I don't believe Miss Hayworth should be given a chance to make other movies unless she improves her conduct." And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Sunday, January 16th, 1949, on your radio, Lum and Abner, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
She seems to be signaling us like something's wrong.
Well, I don't know what it could be. We didn't forget Beatrice, did we? No, we didn't.
I can't imagine what it could be.
Well, whatever it is, it's too late now. Washington, here we come.
Yes, sir. Here we... Wait a minute. What am I doing on the train?
My goodness alive. That's what Sister Simpson was trying... Hey, Lum, put on her brakes. Pull the whistle. Do something.
Now, wait. Let's not get excited.
But, Penny, if you don't get off now, you'll have to go all the way to Washington with us.
Fine.
Clarence Hartzell as Ben Withers was so much fun. Lum and Abner from 74 years ago, January 16th, 1949, on this Monday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go to the movies. Hollywood Soundstage from 71 years ago, January 17th, 1952, The Oxbow Incident. Charlie Ruggles starring in the program about how mob violence almost took control of Oxbow. That'll be on Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater. But now let's get back to back to the train heading for Washington. In fact, the boys may already be there. Lum and Abner, 74 years ago, January 16th, 1949.
Doggies, Lum, look at that sign. You got us in the wrong state even. Pennsylvania.
It says Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're right in the heart of Washington, D.C.
Hey, what does that D.C. stand for?
Don't you know yet? Stands for Democrats in Control.
Well, now, just where do we go to see the inauguration?
Well, we ain't going to worry about that till tomorrow. First thing we're going to do is drop Beatrice off at the Trumans.
Now, where do they live?
Well, if you'll just look at that building right ahead of us, you'll see it. That, Abner, is the White House.
Well, no. Look at the size of that place. Woo.
President Zinkerfuss never had anything like this.
I bound you it's about all Miss Truman can do to keep that place clean. Bet it takes her half her time just chopping enough wood to keep it warm.
Oh, she don't do all that work herself.
She don't?
Of course not. She's got Margaret to help her. Well, come on, let's not stand around here gawking.
Yeah, let's get inside so's I can take my shoes off. My feet are killing.
I think that would be highly frowned upon, Abner.
Yeah, try and behave yourself, Abner. Don't be so country.
All right.
Come on, I think we'll go in that gate where that policeman's standing or whatever he is. And try to keep that thing quiet.
Well, Lum, I bet. Hey, Lum, looky here. Beatrice laid an egg.
Well, good. Good for her. Let's rush it inside. Maybe Mr. Truman would like to have it for breakfast.
Just a minute here. Where are you gentlemen going?
Oh, we're just dropping in on the Trumans. They just thought we'd sit around and chew the fat a while.
Well, the Trumans don't live here.
They don't? What happened? Did they have a recount?
No, you see, the White House is currently undergoing a program of remodeling.
Ain't Harry got that porch built yet?
Don't you never read the papers, Abner? They're remodeling the whole inside of it.
What for?
Well, as I understand it, the president had a chance to buy a set of plans awful cheap from a man with a mustache who suddenly found out he had no use for them.
Well, this is a fine howdy-do. Come clean across the country to visit somebody and find they moved. Don't reckon they heard we was coming, do you?
I think you'll find that it's fairly common knowledge that the president and his family are now residing across the street from the Blair House.
The Blair House, huh?
That's right.
Well, that was awful thoughty of the Blairs to take them in that way. Neighborly, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts.
Well, we're sure much obliged to you, mister. Come on, let's get on over to the Blairs.
Just a minute. Do you gentlemen have an appointment?
Not that I know of. All we got's a chicken. And one egg.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to check with Mr. Ross, the president's secretary, first.
All right. How do we check with him?
You get in touch with Mr. Ross's secretary.
How do you get in touch with her?
You contact Mr. Ross's secretary's secretary.
Maybe we just better eat the chicken ourselves.
No, we promised Sister Simpson we'd give this to him personal, and grannies, we're going to do it. Come on, we'll find a way to do this ourselves. If we don't hurry, his inauguration will be over.
Inauguration, nothing. The rate we're going, his whole term will be over. Well, yeah, Lum, I think this sightseeing trip is a good idea, but I thought we'd come here to see the president.
Well, keep this quiet, but I found out this tour final takes us inside the White House.
Oh?
And when we get inside, we'll sneak away and find Mr. Truman's office.
Yeah.
On the left, you see the famous Smithsonian Institute. And beyond it, towering magically, you see the most famous dome in the country.
Where? Is Jim Farley still around here?
Hush up, Abner. That's the Capitol Dome.
The Capitol was started in 1792 and completed in 1905.
Granny, it's taken them over 100 years to build it.
Sounds like a WPA project.
And to your right, folks, you see the famous Washington Monument.
Is that Washington's monument?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it sure...
I know what you're going to say, and it's silly. It ain't supposed to look like him.
I weren't going to say that. I was just going to say they drove the wrong end in the ground.
And now, to your left, you see the historic Potomac River. And here is the historic spot where George Washington threw $1 across the Potomac.
Where?
Abner, get back in the bus. You can't find it.
I was just trying to see better. Looky there, Lum. That's a long ways to throw $1.
Oh, I don't know. We got men nowadays that can throw $1 billion clean across the Atlantic.
Now, folks, I'm going to have to ask you to be as quiet as you can while we go through the White House.
Come on, Abner. Now's our chance. Let's slip up them stairs.
This is the main hall. On this floor is the public reception room, including these rooms.
Lum, you sure we won't get arrested for this now?
Why, of course not. This all belongs to the citizens of the United States, and we're paid up members in good standing. Or that is, we are till March the 15th.
What if that FBI catches us in here?
Well, don't worry so much. Try that door there. See if that's Mr. Truman's office.
All right. That ain't it. Just somebody practicing on the piano.
Well, let's try another door then. I'll never be able to face Sister Simpson again if we don't get this chicken to him.
You want me to try this one?
Yeah, try that door there.
Yeah. I know that ain't him.
Well, come on, we'll keep trying.
They must be rehearsing some music for that inauguration shindig. Say, by the way, when do we see the inauguration, huh?
Just as quick as we get Beatrice delivered. Here, this looks like a big, important door. Maybe this is it.
Dogged, I hope so. If we don't find him pretty soon, Beatrice is going to be a grandma. See anybody in there?
Yeah.
Is it him?
Well, I can't tell. He's facing the other. Wait, he's turning around. Howdy do, sir.
Right.
Well, for goodness sakes, Ben, what are you doing in here?
Well, I was just chatting with my old friend Alban.
Alban Barkley?
No, Alban Zinkelfuss. He's a personal friend of Mr. Ross's secretary, so I spoke to him about you fellows wanting to see Mr. Truman.
Why, that's great, Ben. Wonderful.
And Alban informs me there's nothing he can do about it.
Huh? Yeah, looks like we might as well forget about Beatrice. Now I wonder if we can get some seats for the inauguration.
Oh, you ought to be able to get plenty of good seats now. It was over 2 hours ago.
Oh, no, don't tell me we... Oh, no.
Doggers, Lum, let's go get on a train before we miss that, too.
No. Let's go back to the Blair house and try once more to give Mr. Truman his present.
But, Lum...
Come on, we promised Sister Simpson we'd do it. Besides, from the looks of Beatrice here, I doubt if she could make the trip back home.
We can't stand here in front of the Blair house with that chicken the rest of our lives.
Yeah, let's go back to Pine Ridge and mail it to him.
Yes, Lum. Our train leaves in less than half an hour.
Well, Grannies, I ain't leaving till I deliver this chicken.
Hey, wait a minute, Lum. Where are you going?
I'm going to give this to the next feller that walks across Pennsylvania Avenue and ask him to give it to the president.
Oh, Lord. That Lum is stubborn as a blue-nosed mule. Talking to him's just like arguing on a stump on fire.
Right. Looks like he's found somebody. See there? Talking to that gray-haired man with the glasses and the bow tie.
Yeah, he'll stand there and flap his jaws for a half hour. We're going to miss that train just as sure.
No, here it comes. We can make it all right now.
Well, hurry up, Lum. Did he say he'd take the chicken to the president? Doggers, Lum, you must have given it to the right man. Look at there, he's going right in the Blair house.
Well, he said he knowed Mr. Truman about as good as any man alive.
What did he say when you handed him the chicken?
Well, I told him it was a Rhode Island Red and asked him if he could carry it all right, and he said, well, I carried Rhode Island last fall. I guess I can do it again.
Did you get his name?
No, I never, Abner. But you know, a body as nice as he is would make us a mighty good president.
glad to be back in Pine Ridge again.
Yeah, well, wait a minute, Abner. Don't unpack your hand satchel. Me and you are going to Washington, D.C.
What first? Beatrice homesick for us?
No, we're really going this time, Abner. We've been invited to appear on the program celebrating the president's inauguration. And I grant this time we'll really get to see him.
Just so we don't go by Buffalo.
From January 16th, 1949, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A bajillion thanks to our friend Ted, RadioMemories.com, who provides us a number of these, in fact, provided us almost all of these recently restored Lum and Abner shows. And you can find more from Ted at RadioMemories.com, programs on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer. That is at RadioMemories.com. Also, stop by and check out all of the bargains right now at MyPillow.com. Use my promo code Wyatt and save you a whole bunch of money. And, you know, I'm enjoying my slippers, and I think you would too. They're very, very comfortable. And by using the promo code, you save a whole bunch of money. That is MyPillow.com. Thank this station, support their advertisers, their kindness and courtesy. Allow us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. Miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. Find our social media links and contact me directly. And if you're so inclined, you can buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections and keeps our distribution channels up and running. That is at classicradio.stream. Look forward to the pleasure of your company. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell all your friends the great radio shows, the greatest of all time, are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Have a great week, won't you?